Narcissists constantly try to make you feel guilty. But what are 5 things that you should never, ever feel guilty about in your life? I'm going to tell you what they are in this video. Hey there, I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm an attorney. I've helped thousands of people go from lives of drama, trauma, and chaos to step into lives of freedom, possibility, and purpose. I've helped so many people break free from toxic relationships. I want to help you break free from toxic relationships as well. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell. I've written 2 best-selling books, Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a Step-by-Step Divorce Guide. It is so time for you to shift that dynamic, turn it all around, be on the offensive for a change, right? Aren't you tired of narcissists trying to make you feel guilty? Feel guilty for things that you should not be feeling guilty about. They're constantly trying to make you feel guilty, especially those covert narcissists. They are like the kings and queens of trying to make you feel guilty about things. I mean, they lay on that guilt trip all the time. They act like they're victims of things. And they do that to try to get narcissistic supply because they want to get that attention all the time. And guilt trips are a way of getting attention. And you should not feel guilty. There's certain things that you should just never feel guilty about. Now, number one, you should never feel guilty about reaching out for help. And I'm guilty of this myself. I never want to reach out for help. I'm always the one out there going, I got this. I don't need anyone. I can do everything myself. And then what happens is I end up feeling exhausted, put upon. No one else can do this as good as me, and blah, blah, blah. And allow people to help you. Reach out for help. There's a really great story. There was this man who was drowning and God sent a fireman, and he was still drowning, and then God sent all these different people, and then he ends up like drowning, right? And he gets to heaven and he says, "Hey God, I thought you were like going to save me." And God's like, "Oh, I sent you fire and rescue. I sent you a boat. I sent you a plane. I sent you all these different things. And you kept saying, no, God's going to save me. God's going to save me." And you never took any of them, right? Allow people to help you. Reach out for help. Go get the help that you need. Get the support that you need. Get the support systems that you need in place. It's okay to reach out for help. But I'm going to give you a caveat on that. Make sure that you're reaching out for help from the right types of people. Make sure that the people that you surround yourself with are the types of people that you are making you feel better, that are actually helping you, and that are people that you can trust, because you do want people in your circle that you can trust. You definitely want to make sure you feel good after you've been around them. You can feel it in your gut. When you walk away, do you feel better? Do you feel like uplifted after you've been around these people? So make sure that when you're reaching out for help, that it's somebody who's in your little inner circle of trust. So get help, get support. If you don't have access to therapy, I do have a partnership online with BetterHelp. You can go to betterhelp.com/Rebecca Zung. It is a partnership that we have. They are a supporter of me and of this channel. We do receive commissions. It doesn't cost you any extra. We just want to make sure that you have access to the help and support that you need. And by the way, if you are negotiating with anybody everybody, a narcissist, we do have a free ebook for you, a free Crush My Negotiation Prep Worksheet. It is amazing. This is substantial. It is a free 15-page ebook. You can get that at crushmydeal.com. You should definitely go get that as well. Okay? So, what else should you not feel guilty about? You should definitely not feel guilty about telling people no. People pleasers, I know it's hard just to say no if you want to seem like you're a good person, a nice person, a helpful person, a caring person. You maybe end up overextending yourself, doing things maybe that you don't necessarily want to do because you want to be that person for people. And then you end up feeling maybe like you're being taken advantage of, resentful, angry. Just say no. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't put your relationship in that position. Just say no, it's not a good time, or just say no, it doesn't work for me. So that's number 2. Number 3 is don't feel guilty about standing up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. And this is where, especially when you're dealing with narcissists and you are changing the dynamic, you're shifting that dynamic. This is where you are turning things around. This is where you're stopping that conditioning. Because what happens with narcissists is that at the beginning of the relationship, they started conditioning you. They started doing things, and this happened with me when I was in a narcissistic relationship with a narcissistic business partnership. Because they start doing things, when you're an empath, they start doing things where you end up going, well, I guess I'm not going to say anything about that, because it's kind of passive aggressive, or they'll do things in front of other people where you might not want to say anything because it's in a public situation. They're in front of other people, or there's this plausible deniability. So you're not really sure. Did they just say that? Maybe they didn't mean it that way. You're not really sure what to think of it. And so you don't necessarily stand up for yourself. You're not really sure. Maybe you just think it's easier to just let it go. So you don't stand up for yourself. And then when that happens over and over and over again, then that conditioning has started to change that dynamic. You have to start standing up for yourself. And it's hard. It's really hard at the beginning because you're afraid of that backlash, and they do end up having a bit of a tantrum at the beginning, and you do have to kind of deal with that backlash. It is harder at the beginning, but you do have to do that, and you can't feel guilty about it because you have to do what's right for you. You have to make choices that are right for you in your life. It's your life. No one else has to live it. Only you. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone else. So that's number 3. Number 4, don't have to explain yourself or feel guilty about making personal choices that are personal to you. Now, these are decisions that don't affect anyone else other than you. And you don't have to feel bad about that. And you don't have to apologize to anyone about making choices that are personal to you. And, just sorry, not sorry. I'm not talking about choices that might hurt somebody else. I'm talking about choices that are your choices to live your life on your terms. And I want you to put in the comments right now, sorry, not sorry, because just start getting used to living life on your terms and not feeling guilty about that. Sorry, not sorry. Don't feel guilty about that. Sometimes it's really hard, but this is your life. You get one life. You get to live it your way. Sorry, not sorry. So that's number 4. And number 5 is the most important one here. Of course, we saved the best for last. Don't feel guilty about cutting toxic people out of your life, even if they're related to you. And this has to happen sometimes. Sometimes it means just maybe creating really, really strict boundaries around them, maybe really limiting how much time you spend with them, limiting how you see them, how the relationship looks, redefining what the relationship looks like. Sometimes it is cutting them out of your life altogether. I know a lot of people who've had to do that, and you just can't feel guilty about that because sometimes people are just so toxic that they can't help themselves when they're around you. So you just have to cut them out of your life. They just don't know any other way other than to be manipulative, toxic, horrible, whatever it is that they are, they just can't help themselves. I know people who are like this. And unfortunately, no matter what you try to do, no matter what measures you take to try to work within the parameters of boundaries or whatever, they just cannot help themselves. So sometimes cutting them out completely is just what you have to do. And I do have a whole video on 5 signs it's time to break up. And that may be a video that you need to watch. So I'm going to recommend that you go watch that next if that's something that you need to watch. And make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'm here. I'm an attorney. I'm a narcissist negotiation expert. I'm giving you free information and tips and tricks every single day. And I want to make sure that you have that information in your hands. I also have a free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. I want to make sure that you have access to that. And I've links to everything below in the description. So if you're looking for anything that I mentioned in this video, make sure you check that out as well. So I'm Rebecca Zung. Thanks for stopping by. Remember that today's a great day to start negotiating your best life. And I will see you in that next video.